Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. While we're waiting on everyone to arrive, we're actually going to take a few minutes just to get to know you all. We'd love for you to jump in the chat. Let us know who you are, what company you work for, where you're calling in from, and what you're hoping to learn today. Or maybe if you're struggling with something specific and you feel comfortable sharing that with us, let us know what it is so we can do our best to address it in the presentation today. And while we spend a few more minutes waiting on all of our attendees to arrive, I'm actually going to launch a poll right now. We're really just trying to get to know everyone on the call a little bit better. And we're also trying to get an idea of where everyone is at with regard to the topic for today. So those questions in the poll are, do you have a careers page on your corporate website right now? How many positions do you hire for a year? How difficult is it for you to hire right now? And which of the following best describes your role? Again, we're just trying to get to know everyone a little bit better so we can kind of tailor the content to the audience who is here. And if you just joined us in the last minute or two, I'd like to invite you to jump into the chat and let's make sure. If you cannot chat, let me know, but I think everyone should be able to chat. There we go. I see a test from Cameron. Thank you. So jump in the chat. Let us know who you are, what company you are representing today, where you're calling in from. And again, we've got some questions on the poll so we can get to know everyone a little bit better. And while we wait for the rest of the attendees to hop in, I'll go ahead and start with a quick introduction from myself. My name is Danielle Look, and I'm the content marketing manager at Team Engine, where we provide software to recruit, engage, and retain your on-the-go workforce. And in that role, I create the tools and resources like this webinar that you see on our website and social media. And there's one resource actually that you might be particularly interested in, and that's our blog post with 10 ways to improve your branded careers page. And what I did was I actually went out on the internet, found a bunch of great careers pages from a variety of industries, and pointed out all the things that make them great so that you can then take those ideas and make them your own. So at the end of today's webinar, your browser should redirect you to a page where you can access that blog post, as well as sign up for a free Team Engine trial. So be on the lookout for that at the end of the presentation. So that's me and what I do at Team Engine. And before I hand it over to our speaker today, I also just wanted to take a minute to thank each and every one of you for being here today and for recognizing the importance of building a strong employer brand and the powerful recruiting tool that it can be. And so if you're here for this webinar today, the chances are good that you are already engaged in the activities that make a strong employer brand. Just need a little extra boost in getting the word out about that brand that you've so carefully cultivated. And understandably so, because it's really part science and part art. And today's guest speaker, Tim Brown, is going to give you the secret Hook Agency family recipe to bring it all together. So a little background on Tim. He is the CEO of Hook Agency, an SEO, PPC, and web design firm focused on home service contractors. Now, Tim has grown his agency from 1 person to 22 in just 5 years. So he definitely knows a thing or two about not only building an employer brand, but also marketing that employer brand. And that's what he's here to talk to you about today. And we do have a full agenda. So without any delay, I'll hand it over to you, Tim.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just trying to look at these answers real quick. And I really appreciate you guys asking, I appreciate Team Engine asking them, and I appreciate you guys answering them. Looks like 80% of you guys do have a corporate careers page on their website. Looks like a lot of 2 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 plus so you guys are hiring a lot of folks. How difficult is it for you guys to hire? Somewhat difficult. to very difficult. No, not difficult at all. So I'm right there with you. And then which of the following best describes your role? A lot of recruiting and operations folks, not a lot of marketing and owners. So there's some stuff in this that I'm going to try to break down. I'm going to give you a little what to write down as far as the bullet point. The slide might be a little bit more complicated, but basically I'll give you the simple version too, just to like if you're delegating it to somebody, let's say in marketing or whatever it happens to be. I just want to say hi to Cameron Schronk of Veteran Brothers Roofing and Restoration in Texas. He actually, super nice, just complimented our salesperson yesterday. And I was like, well, guess what? Here's how we hire. And this is some of that info. And I wanted to share it with him. So I sent this link to him yesterday. So we're talking about the ultimate recipe for optimizing your careers page. So what it really is this about? This is about not getting enough applicants, but also any of these other things you're experiencing. So if you're not getting enough applicants, you're getting too many unqualified people, hiring bad culture fits, and maybe just being a little bit overly reliant on OPW, I'm going to call it for this particular presentation, other people's websites. Instead of doing that, I want you to rank your job posts and pages on Google using this recipe. So you can actually get traffic for these things. And I'm going to show you how. And first I'm going to start with a story because this really does work for us. Recently, Jameson Kinney, this guy looks like he's 15, but he's actually 25. So, people look younger and younger these days. I swear to God, like I go and look at a college student. I'm like, that's a college student, dude? That looks like a middle schooler. It's crazy. Okay. So Jameson now found our company because we ranked #2 on the map for Minneapolis Marketing Agency. And I know you guys aren't ranking for marketing terms all the time, but so maybe some of you are. So, but he looked at recent jobs after that and then applied. 6 months later, absolutely phenomenal. So I want you to stay tuned at the very end for a bonus strategy on how you can rank that high on the map for a competitive term. But first, we're going to talk about just the careers page. And here's our first tip. So keyword research. The main idea here is what do you want to rank for? You have to actually gather terms. And I might do this and my team might do this in a fairly sophisticated way, but you don't have to. You could open a note on your iPhone and just write down the things that people are searching. And these two tools, Ahrefs and semrush.com, are both, there's free versions. And you just basically can search around in them. So you can put other websites in there. And I'll kind of show you an example of that here in a second. But the first thing to write down, if you're just writing down bullet points to delegate, is figure out what people are searching. So, and keyword research would be the thing to get really into on this. And you can do that in a very simple way on the next slide, but don't use cute names for titles. Sometimes we're like trying to make our company seem a certain way, or like we're trying to be fancy. And this is not the place to be fancy, because if they don't know to search for that, then you're not going to get people. So you have to say it the way that everyone normally says it. And that's weird for some people, but that's what you got to do. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, but put Indeed.com into Ahrefs and filter by your keyword. And list the top keywords with the most search volume, the most people searching them, and then use the keyword in meta titles and descriptions. So this is the basics of keyword research and optimizing for SEO, but here's how you do it. So if you went to ahrefs.com, ahrefs.com, some of you might want to screenshot this and send it to somebody. But you go to Keyword Explorer in Ahrefs, and there's a cheap or a free version of Ahrefs that allows you to do this. Go to any jobs board site you can put in there. I put in Indeed.com here, and then we press Keywords View, And then we use the keyword drop down. You can see at the top right or top left here. And then you put in the keywords. So you could put in HVAC technician, you could put in, roofing in this case for the screenshot, whatever it happens to be that you're trying to get people for. And then look at all the keywords that this job board site is ranking for on Google. So we're basically peeking behind the curtain and saying, what do you have back there? What are you ranking for? And I'll give you what these columns look like. The volume here is how many people are searching it. So it looks complicated, but it's fairly simple. 3,500 people a month are searching roofing jobs near me. 2,100 people are searching roofing jobs. And this is in the United States, by the way. So roofing sales jobs, 700 people are searching it. So yes, we're not going to beat Indeed for roofing jobs. But what we will beat Indeed for is roofing jobs, Kansas City. You know what I mean? So really what I tell people is play small ball to win big. Indeed is going to have a list probably for roofing jobs, Kansas City, but they're not going to be able to hammer it like you are. So really, I'll show you how to do that. But think about it like you can compete because you only have one city. Indeed has thousands of cities. You can get really specific and comprehensive because what it is you're going to need to provide comprehensive content for that topic that you want to rank for. So the first bullet point, like I said, is figure out what you want to rank for. Do keyword research. Second thing that you want to do, technical SEO structure. And it sounds complicated, but I'm going to give you a few kind of key points that are fairly simple. Is the site easy to navigate? And the first thing that you need to make sure that your website is fast. So if you're on WordPress, you might need to do a caching plugin or something like that, and remove thin and duplicate content with a plugin like Yoast SEO or Rank Math. But this is just basic technical SEO stuff. So if you've got a developer, ask them to do page speed and to install an SEO plugin. They probably already have. So the stuff's probably already done. That's basics. Otherwise, you don't want to just have one page to list jobs and that's it. Really, the idea is that we have a main jobs page with sub pages with more info, and you can use a URL structure, just a link structure, like basically like careers. So that's where the hub is, where all the lists, they're all listed, and then sub pages like careers/HVAC technician. You want to have a page for each of these roles and then link back and forth from the main page to the sub pages and vice versa in the content. And then if there is any sub navigations, and I'll give you an example of something like that real quick. So here's an example with, you've got the careers page and then the HVAC technician. This is called breadcrumbs, but there's all kinds of different ways to link back and forth between the main page and the sub pages, and you want those links. Some older school websites have like a sidebar with like the links, and then you can interlink to the other job pages too. So you could say other jobs hiring for, and really you just want that interlinking. A lot of people, like we're talking about SEO here, right? Ranking on Google, ranking high on Google for these search terms. And you want to think of it like a lot of people know that links matter for SEO, and links also matter, like interior links in the website, but we'll talk about that more and how to do that more in a second as well. But yeah, one more time on that slide. Is the site easy to navigate? This is a really important point. And if it's easy to navigate, it's very helpful for SEO as well. So it's one way to think of it there. All right, niche landing pages, location and job type. So any type of job that you post a lot, And Dave, by the way, absolutely, the deck will be available to take away. We'll make sure that it's available at the end. Any type of job that you post, by the way, just to make this more interesting, I'm ready to answer any, is it over there? Any questions you've got during the presentation to make this more fun. So if you guys want to be involved here, go for it. We'll do our best. And I'll tell you if I don't know. All right. So number 3, niche landing pages. Location, job types. Basically, you need a page if you're posting something a lot. Like we have a client, HVAC company, that essentially always is hiring for certain things, right? They're always hiring for HVAC technicians in Minneapolis. They're always hiring. So they have a landing page just for that. And it's a little bit more comprehensive content. We don't want to put out a page that's thin content. You don't want to put up pages with less than 300 words, which is kind of a lot of content if you think about it. That's more than an average social media post. That's like 5 paragraphs to get, maybe even 5 to 10 paragraphs. That's a lot of content, right? You want to create comprehensive pages with completely original content, this is the hard part, guys. It's putting out this amount of content. The rest of the stuff is kind of easy. It's the getting the content out there that you actually have to have somebody write this or write this yourself so that it's comprehensive. You need these things. The reason is because Google doesn't automatically know what your page is about. And the more content that you're giving it, and some of you guys already know this because you're already, familiar with SEO, but the more content that you're giving it, the more it's fodder it's chum in the water for Google. Google's a shark. And it needs the chum to know that there's food there. So we want to chum the water to get the shark of Google over to our website. Maybe, I don't know if that's a good analogy, but we're going to go with it. Original content, not copy and pasted. And I'm going to talk about how you can do this where you don't have to do it every single time anew in 1 second, but has to be original on every single paste, and every single job post, every single page. Consider promo up top and deeper content below. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like. All right, so this is an example. We ranked for roofing crews needed in Minneapolis. In this case, it's a little different because they have subcontractors, but we were trying to get the subcontractors to find this page. And so as you can see on the left side, we've got kind of a promo with like an image and a headline and a big call to action and bullet points with like consistent jobs, clear expectations, better processes, right? It's like, this is like almost like an ad. But then below all this, there's a little bit more like bullet points and like another promo section. And then there's just like content. Here are some of the things we'll need to work with you and your crews. And then it gives like bulleted lists, right? So we're trying to attract crews in this case, but you could do this for any job type and for an individual. And then you're essentially promoting and then giving the content that Google needs. Google wants this content beneath. Maybe these people are not going to read this whole thing. And actually, I would assume that they won't. And you don't have to, part of me is like, you want it to be persuasive if they do read it, but don't let that stop you. Just to get started, just churn out the content. Just crank it out there. And I think Danielle, you've done some SEO, right? Sorry, she's not actually on at this moment, but I think she's done some SEO.
Yeah, I'm here, Tim. I've done that. We did it for Team Engine when we heard that Google or Facebook for Jobs was going away. And so we wrote a blog post about that and kind of how to react to that. And it's a timing thing too. That was something that people were curious about. And so, now if you do a Google search for what happened to Facebook Jobs, we actually show up as like a featured snippet that they pulled that information off of that blog post. So the key there is, just to be truly helpful and answer something, but then the answer to just that question alone wasn't enough. There has to be a bunch of other, like you said, deeper content on the page.
So one way to get to that is, I call it shoulder topics. So in this case, we're talking about maybe the North Face way. You know what I mean? Like in this particular case, we're talking about like core values and stuff like that. Like you can go into other topics that relate to the job to fill it out. And that's a way to kind of continue to create content on that page without being redundant. And, you know, in Danielle's case, she may have ranked things in the past where it wasn't like, sometimes it's not always the most fire content at the beginning, but for some reason it ranks. Google likes it. And then you can go back later and enhance it and improve it. And I'm guessing like one of the things that just like basics of SEO is like, go back and improve the stuff that's ranking already on your site. That's a way to win now and in the next few months. Have your people go back and update the content that's already doing well. Increase the stuff that you're leading with. And that is a big thing here too, is where let's crank out the content. Let's do all the pages and posts that we want to do, job posts that we want to do. It takes 3 to 6 months for it to even to take hold. So that's the weird part about using your website. And I'm going to show you why that's okay in a second. But let's say you don't think people are Googling this or like always Googling it. They are Googling this stuff, but it's also like in the next 6 months, maybe the market will get a little looser. The job market might get a little loose. And I know that we're in home services and I know that a lot of you guys are in trades businesses. So it's not, you know, I don't think we're going to experience the same kind of upheaval that tech is experiencing right now. But like there is certainly some looseness that's going to happen in the job market. Let's be positioned to take advantage of that when it happens to get people into our company. And this is a 3 to 6 month time. It's different. It's a little different than Indeed and stuff like that. So this takes some work. Should you blog post anytime important industry news comes out? Okay, so general SEO question, then we'll get back into number 4 here. So yes, absolutely. And everything that you do on the blogging standpoint is going to help your efforts over here. So it may or may not seem related, but especially when it is something to do with like jobs or, you know, like even blogging for like employer brand stuff, it's what we call it is a topic cluster. And the more content that you have on your site for jobs related content and how, like for instance, HVAC technician salary, that's a great blog post. Like you covering these things in other places on your website and then linking to your jobs page site is what I would call a topic cluster, and it's super useful. That would be an advanced move though, Cameron. So and Cameron's a roofer. I don't know why I just used an HVAC reference there, but actually you blogging for this other stuff is going to help your jobs page as well. So Cameron, thank you for that question. Number 4, internal and external linking, location, and job types. So get on as many job posting sites as possible. And you can, obviously using something like Team Engine allows you to post on many at once and then manage the candidates that come from that in a singular place, allows you to text them. A lot of candidates don't use email as much as you or I might, right? So we're meeting them where they're at, which is text in a way that's professional. I think something like Team Engine would be a very smart choice for this, but also to get out on all those sites quickly. And in that job description, put a link back to the jobs posting on your site if you have it. That is really, really good for SEO. The more links you have out there. So if you put this in your description and then broadcast it with Team Engine, very good for your SEO. And we need as many links from the internet as we possibly can get. So the fact that this puts it out there in so many places is super useful. So for those of you who are already using Team Engine, make sure you get the link for the job post on your site and include it in that description before you post it into Team Engine. That's ideal. And then link from listing pages to sub pages. We already talked about that, but the back and forth from the main listing page to the sub pages. And then Here's one that's good for general SEO as well, Cameron. Look for your top traffic pages on the site and pages with the most links to them. I'll show you how to do this on the next slide, and link to your job postings that you want to rank. So you want to do it towards the top of the page with keywords. So you'd actually, like, let's say you did that post, you did that. Let's do it for Cameron. So roofing salesperson salary. That would be a great blog post, right? You put that blog post because we want traffic to the site as well, because the more traffic we get, it helps buoy our rankings for stuff like this. So we want traffic and candidates. We want traffic and leads, and traffic often is a precursor to these things happening on your site. So if you did that salesperson salary post, then link to the job post in the first paragraph. That link is more powerful if that page has traffic. So here's an example of how to do this. This one might be one that you'll need the deck for, or you could screenshot it. Google Search Console, crazy powerful, guys, crazy powerful. And we can see all of our top pages in here, and we can see what they're ranking for. So if I click into one of these, we can look at the queries that it ranks for. Absolutely phenomenal. But then any one of these that has a ton of traffic, I'm going to go and I'm going to put maybe the 3 of the ones that have the most traffic. I'm going to go put my job post or whatever I want to rank in the first paragraph. I'm going to link to it and maybe make it, as subtle or as promotional as we can. You usually want it to be in the middle of a paragraph so it doesn't look just like a call out. So we're finding the top pages, and then we're going to those posts or pages, and then we're linking to our job page. So this is charging it up. This is like you take the most charged pages on your website, and then you charge up the stuff that you want to rank. And then also this right screenshot is Ahrefs, ahrefs.com. You can look at best by links on pages and see what pages you have the most links to. Usually it's the home page, but sometimes you've had a resource take off. Like, we have a client who has a post that just has a ton of links about ice dams because there wasn't good information on the internet about ice dams that form on your roof. So that page got a lot of links to it for some reason. So then we go to that page and we link to the thing that we want to rank. So in this case, a job post, we link to it. We find a way to work in the language about, if you're looking for a job, whatever it happens to be, we link to it and boom. And then here's a clincher. So you guys were all probably curious. We had a cliffhanger there about why it's okay to do this, even though it takes 3 to 6 months to rank. Well, here's the deal. Well, we're not going to remove the job postings ever. We're going to leave them up. And this wouldn't work on Indeed or LinkedIn or something like that, but we're going to mark them as hired or mark them as accepting applications. And I'll show you an example of that in a second, but if you'd accepting applications, if you'd hire somebody that came in, they're fire. They're like 95 percentile, like just crushing it. Then we would put accepting applications on there. But you want to reuse the same URLs. We're leaving them out there. And then we're just going to modify the job post the next time we post that position, and we're going to mark it as accepting hiring. So update the content when you're hiring for that role again. Google respects old URLs. So this is another reason why I tell people just don't, because a lot of early business owners keep switching their name and their URL and stuff like that in general. You don't want to do that, first of all. Stop changing the name of your company. Stop changing. Don't go from a .org to a .com. Just stick it and stay, because it's really, really important. The domain age is really important, but then the /careers /HVAC technician or /roofing salesperson, those URLs are really important. Really important. Like having them out there for 3 to 6 months is going to give you a massive advantage. That's why Indeed and LinkedIn and all these other places are at the top, because they have them stuck and they stay and they never go away. Whereas other people are deleting them and then reposting them. So we're just saying hiring or hired or accepting applications at the top and call it out so that you don't like make people mad. But we want to keep those URLs for as long as possible. Here's an example of ours. And obviously these are not the roles that you'd probably be hiring for, but I just want to give you a really clear example on our website. So we're either currently hiring or hired, and we just leave them out there. We just have all the old ones already still out there. And every time we are hiring again for that position, which we hire for the same positions, every 6-12 months, then we put it back, we say hiring, and then we update the date. So you want to update the date to the current date and then make sure it's at the top of the listing. However, that there may be an extra step there on your website, but essentially make sure, and something like this, if you show them this, a website design company can help build you. It's not that crazy complicated to build, but otherwise you can do it in other ways. We just do it in a dynamic way. So definitely want to update the date though. Just update the date to the current date and probably refresh the content a little bit. So we just added dental, for instance. Man, I'm so proud of myself. I really have a real company if we're offering dental, right? So I put dental on the job post. I'm just refreshing the job post, making sure that the details have all of the details, making sure that everything is current and correct, and then updating that date. And then I've got one bonus one for you guys. Are we clocking really quick here? I talk so quick.
We're at half past the hour. So I think you got lots of time for Q&A.
Lots of time. Well, we're going to talk. We've got questions at the end. So if you got questions, get them ready. But I'll talk about some general stuff here. And this is how we got this recent person hired. So I feel like if there's a very clear, we get a lot of applicants on our website. So I know this stuff works, but I like this one because I talked to you about Jameson, and this is how he found us. So we rank #1 on Google, and I got to check it. I didn't check it right before this. So let's check it right now. #1 in the main area for Minneapolis marketing. Let's see if it's true. Minneapolis marketing. There's ads, and then we're #1 under the map. Okay, so for this particular one, we're #1 under the map. We have a list. And you might be wondering, why make a list? You're one of the companies. Well, this one makes particular sense for us because we don't work with everybody. We only work with home service businesses. So we're not really just trying to get everyone in Minneapolis to be our client. So at the top of it, we say we work with home services companies. You could say the top 7 HVAC companies in your city, and then put yourself at the top of the list or however you want to do it, and say what your specialty is. Hey, we specialize in 1 hour time window to make sure that you have the person there when we say we're going to be there. We specialize in free checkups or $100 tune-ups or whatever it happens to be, right? And then you can talk about your competitors in whatever way you deem, in a respectful, positive way, but maybe you could pigeonhole them a little bit or something. But the point is, I'm very nice to our competitors, but I'm just saying, like, whatever you want to do. And then this ranks you in the maps. So besides that, we ranked #2 for Minneapolis Marketing Agency in the maps. And we rank our clients. We've ranked our clients, and you can do this too. You don't need to work with Hook Agency to do this, but we did SEO for both these clients, Sustainable 9 and Treasured Spaces. And it's crazy. Both of these are clients, and they both rank for Minneapolis Home Builder because of lists. We put lists on their website. So in the case of Sustainable 9, they're super modern, and Treasured Spaces is like, farmhouse style and stuff like that. But the point is you can do this too. If you're not so scared of competition, you can make lists. And I'm not just saying one. I'm saying make all the lists. It's either going to be you that ranks for it, or Angie leads, or like whatever it happens to be. But this one can get you leads and applicants, because people are searching, like actual employees are searching for top HVAC companies in city, top roofing companies in city. I'm gonna gotta do some other, top fire and safe companies in Venice, top, um, mechanical services companies, top asphalt and concrete companies in Delafield, Wisconsin. So you guys have an opportunity to be the list and then actually make like 5, 10 lists, make lists for the surrounding cities and suburbs. This is the only reason I'm telling you to do this is because somebody's going to do it, or there's 12 other people that have already done it. So you have the opportunity to be in those when people are searching top and best companies. A lot of times the intent in search engine marketing, we call it the intent. The intent of the search is a list. And Google knows the difference of intents, and they're going to serve up what they think is most useful. And so if they're going to do it, we're going to do it. We just want to compete, and we got to be scrappy to compete in search. And these companies I want you to be the one. You know what I mean? I'm not talking down on anybody, but I want you guys to be the one. When, we're talking about all these lead aggregator websites and all these different companies that do lists, they just want to sell you back the lead. They just want to give you, so basically this is a way to both get leads and get applicants. Like I said, that Jameson searched this, found us, and applied, and the same will happen because the technicians, the carpenters, the salespeople in your area are searching to try to find the top or the best companies of that type in your area. And then they're looking at your jobs page, and then make sure to call out your jobs page in your navigation. And I think we can open it up to questions now. So if you guys have questions, let me know.
Yeah, you can use either the Q&A function, or you can put it directly into the chat. I just sent out a link to that list of marketing agencies that Tim was referencing. And going through the chat questions, someone asked earlier about when will the recording be available. We'll be sending out an email this afternoon with a link to the recording so you can share with anyone else in your organization who might benefit from watching this. And so we have a question from Maddie asking, what is the difference between being number 2 on the map versus under the map?
Yeah, I think this one really depends on the search, right? Like, what are they trying to do? Map is probably always best, to be honest. To be on the map it's just so big, you know what I mean? And it's so visual. So I love the map. And I also love it if we're on the map because, like, particular with the list strategy, it's funny, you create this list, which isn't the ideal promo, but it's what works, right? Because the ideal promo would just be like a landing page, right? But you have this list, and then sometimes the list is like on page 2, but then you're in the map because Google knows that you are providing this service. So ideally the map, absolutely ideal. It's a lot more, it's hard to, perfect that on every search. So ideally the map, but both of them are very good. I'd say anytime the map is present, it's always ideal to be in the map. And basically, I talk a lot about SEO in this particular webinar, but I Google, I look at the first page, I want to be everywhere on there. You know what I mean? So for me, I want to be in the, if I'm a home service provider, I want to be in the local service, local service ads section. I want to be in the ads. I want to be in the map. Sometimes there's a map ad. I want to be in the map ad. I want to be in the map. I want to be right below the map. I want to be in every single spot. I want to even be in the frequently asked questions section. So if you've got content, if some of you have content on your website already for these things, you already have job listing pages, you're trying to figure this out. You're like, dude, I kind of have this already. Well, go to that FAQ section when you search job post city. Look at if there's also asked, it's also asked box on Google. Figure out what people are also asking and then answer those questions on your job posts or on your job listing pages. So that's a way to build out the content as well. And then if we're on every single one of those places, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places on the first page of Google. That would be the ideal scenario, and at the top of each, right? So what I'm suggesting is literally Google and just figure out how to show up in more spots. And don't limit yourself. If you're already on the page, if you're already on page 1 for something, but it's really important to you, let's say you have a big push in 2023 to get as many technicians as you possibly can, then I would say think about trying to show up in all those spots. We're talking about Google organic because, well, it's free and it can be done with your time, so it's kind of awesome. But also, if it's really important to you, how can we show up on just more spots on that page? Because if this is important to you, it's probably worth paying a little money for those ads as well to show up for the top job titles that you need right now. I would guess. And sometimes you pay, let's say Indeed or somebody like that, and they're paying Google for the traffic to Indeed. So like skip the middleman. I mean, I'm not saying Indeed's bad. I love, we put them out on every single site, like we even put them out in niche sites like city focused ones and, like diversity focused listings and stuff like that. So we're going to be on as many as we possibly can, but you also sometimes want to skip the middleman and just go straight to Google Ads or, whatever it happens to be.
All right, we do have another question. We talked a lot today about SEO, but one thing that maybe there's some questions around is the actual content that goes on the page. So we talked about how to structure it and how to link across your site and stuff, but what should you actually put on the careers page?
Yeah, and I'm kind of talking about it a second ago, but I think you should, if it's important to you, I wish I could say raise your hands right now. Raise your hands if it's important to you okay, so you can do it. All right, fancy. Raise your hands if it's a big push for you right now to be able to get the right applicants. And I know that we already did the poll, so if you're able to raise your hands, I'm just trying to see who's still here. So raise your hands. If it's important to you right now, create a call to action that goes above your like get a quote or your get service. You should have a call out in the top right of your navigation. That's your main call to action. But I'm saying right above that, we're hiring, see job opportunities, and call it out with a different color right above your navigation. So it's a secondary navigation, a kind of a call out promotion. So that's one thing on every single page that should be out there. On your about page, you could link to this stuff. I'm actually just going to show, I know this is going to be awkward for a second, but I'm going to show, one second, guys. I'm going to show ours because I think ours is very good. So I want to show you our jobs page. I'm going to share 1 second. Share. I'm going to raise my hand because it's important to me to get people right now. All right. So we have our core value. We have a video up top that's employee testimonials.
I'm Sydney. I'm an account executive.
And then we have bullet points and open positions. We have core values. I think this is a big one. The perks, and I'm using emojis. Okay, guys, I'm a millennial. Guess what? I'm like 36. We use emojis. You use emojis. What are we doing? Why are we pretending like this is not part of work and job stuff? So we use emojis in our stuff. We've got it all up there, like all the main perks and stuff like that. And I'm putting everything in there as a perk. We're paying for a course. We're contributing towards mental health counseling. We're crazy. You know what I mean? We're soft marketers out here doing everything. So 90-day check-ins with the company owner, coffee and Red Bull and stuff like that, right? So we're saying all these things really quick with emojis. And then we've got our hiring process, we've got our Glassdoor reviews, and then we have the open positions. And then the open positions, you can always go directly to them. So then when we're in a job post, we're talking about the level of the position. We're allowing them to apply wherever we want them to apply, or we could put a form on here. We decided to send them to LinkedIn. However you want to do that. And I would, if I'm using Team Engine, I would incorporate that in and allow them to directly apply. And then we're basically talking about the skills for the position, the hard skills and the soft skills. And once again, listing the perks.
I mean, it sounds and looks to me, Tim, like this is really just about setting expectations for the applicant and just, you set some expectations on the main page, but then if they're interested enough to click into this niche page, then you're going to give them everything. You're going to pull back the curtain and be very, very explicit about what you're expected to do and also what you're not expected to do. And I like that chart that shows kind of the path within the company, it's like, wow, well, I can come in at this entry or intermediate level, but look how much room there is for growth inside this organization. So I think everything that, don't hold back, don't keep any secrets.
And I should say, I totally yoinked this from another agency that was doing this. Like, looks a lot like another company's like layout and stuff like that. So maybe it's a little competitive analysis to the people that are doing hiring really well in your area. Like, it doesn't have to look like this. Look at what other people are doing well. It's unfortunately, the truth is a lot of home services companies are not doing this well. So, you go to your top competitor and they barely have a job site. So you have an opportunity to be the leader. You can look at other companies. Definitely come take a peek at ours. It's under About and Careers. Join our team. We don't have a big push for employees at this exact moment. We're kind of slow on it and stuff like that. But I think we might have a big push coming in this next year, especially if this webinar turns out. Just kidding. No, but ultimately, there's a lot of opportunity for most of you to improve this page. This is a great example. I do this not because we absolutely needed this. This took a while to develop. This was like probably 30 hours or something like that. But I do this to set an example for our clients of what's possible on a website and how to do this well. So that's why I did this.
I think you make a really great point too about like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think, finding examples of what's working well and performing well, that's a big part of SEO, right? Is finding what people are doing that's well, and then kind of taking that and making it your own. I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. Creating, we have on Team Engine, one of our resources you can download is a job descriptions template. But we're actually working on revamping those templates out to be focused on industry specific roles and kind of expanding to include more roles. And part of what I'm doing is going to Indeed and looking at job postings for roofing labor. And, I'm compiling all of them, and then I'm pulling out the best of what I like, what I think is the best, and using that to create a template to work off of. So I think you make a really great point there about some competitive analysis for sure.
And I just want to note that you can keep your careers page current by syncing with Team Engine as well. You want to make sure that you have the most recent information on there. And then also you can do mobile friendly applications through Team Engine as well. You want to make sure, like a lot of people, I don't think people realize we might be at work, but your people are applying everywhere, right? Like they're probably not at work or not sitting down at a desktop computer to apply to your stuff. So if you make sure that the form to apply is super easy and doesn't require like a pinch and zoom, that's going to be important. And like I said, I think that just some of the other cool thing about Team Engine, I hope you guys are using it if you're already on Team Engine, is the text communication with folks. For any of the people that came in from me, like I see some roofers in here, so we work with a lot of roofers. I want to note that the other cool thing about Team Engine is that it allows you to incentivize referrals and make referrals easy for your current team. I think that's a big one that I took away from my last conversation. We've had several conversations with Team Engine, just making it really easy for your current people. Some of our best people came from employee referrals. So making that really easy and giving them, some incentivization to actually get people into the company, and then allowing it to be text friendly. So if they're out at a party, like we had a person out at a party, uh, and finding somebody to work at the company, they said, "I'm looking for a job in this field," and they said, "Yes, well, come work with us." And you can make that really easy for them to send over the information. And I just think the big paradigm shift for me in thinking about Team Engine is just stop thinking about it like it's different than leads. You know what I mean? I think about leads all the time because that's like what we're mainly trying to do for clients. But like, act like your employee prospects are leads. So act like it matters the way you're communicating with them. Because on a prospect, a lead, I'm gonna communicate with them wherever they want to communicate, right? Because I want that business. I'm going to communicate with them on Facebook Messenger or text. Like if they want that, I'm going to do it. But why do we do it so different for employees? We got to be on LinkedIn or, Indeed.
And you're going to do it immediately, right? You're not going to
Yeah. 2 days later, it's like maybe we care about you, maybe we don't kind of vibe. Like I stopped doing that when I talked to you guys about this, because I had this paradigm shift in my mind. I'm now going to because you got to treat them like they're the best. Because if they turn out, what if they turn out? The best employee prospects are going to want quick communication. You don't want the person that respects 2-day emails.
Right.
You don't want that person working with you. Yeah. So don't act like all of them stink, because people act like everybody out here doesn't want to work. Your competitor has a bunch of people clamoring to work for them. Why? I'm just challenging you so that I want to wake people up. I think that there's opportunity to kind of act like people are high performers, and then when they get in the door, they'll be high performers. So I think a high performer wants quick communication, wants it in the day, wants it maybe in the first couple hours, they want to be able to communicate on the level that they want to communicate on. They're not just, and I mean, it's also just understanding home service employees are not always necessarily on email all the time. I think that's a big deal. Those were big shifts for me as far as understanding, the drought that we've had in the labor market, the difficult spot that we're in, and why Team Engine would be helpful.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all about making it easy for people who are looking for a job, and you have a job. So why put up all these barriers and make sure that they upload a PDF of their resume when they don't even have that, and they certainly don't have it on their phone to apply with, when they're applying on their phone, and they don't have an email address. And so text with them, and use emojis in your text messages and things like that. So just removing those barriers and being quick and timely, and that's where Team Engine does come into play, is the stuff that you should be doing, that you want to be doing, but you're only one person and can only do so much. And so kind of automating that. An example, you were talking about the employee referral. You send out a text to your employees letting them know you're looking for people to fill this role. And so then they have this link in their phone. And so when they're at a party on Saturday night and they meet someone who might be a good candidate, then they just click into that link, and then they put in the person's name and their phone number, and that's it. And then Team Engine takes it from there and fires off a text to that person and says, "Hey, Tim, Danielle said you might be interested in working for us. Can you apply?" And then they fill out 3 fields and submit. And then, now they're in Team Engine, and you start working them through the hiring process.
So if you guys haven't tried Team Engine yet, please scan this QR code with your phone. And remember, we haven't even known how to do that very long. I literally barely just learned how to do this, but everyone knows how to do it now. Scan this sucker. And then also, and by the way, if you already are using Team Engine, nice to meet you. And I'm guessing those people came from you guys. So thanks for joining the thing and checking out what we were talking about. And also, if you're interested in chatting with Hook Agency, scan this code and set up an intro call. We do SEO, PPC, and web design for home service businesses. We have HVAC people, we have plumbers, we have a ton of roofers. So and we've worked with asphalt company and stuff like that. So if you guys want to say hi, say hi. And yeah, appreciate everyone coming. And this is a fun time. I could feel the energy on the other side. You guys out there, I know you are all pumped up and stoked. Everyone's just like with half of a Jimmy John's hanging out like, what? But yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thanks everyone so much. Again, I will be sending out an email this afternoon with a link to the recording. And if you are interested in that free SEO evaluation from Tim, I will also include a link to that in the email that we send out later today. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and conclude. Thanks again for coming, and good luck out there on those careers pages.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.